Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name's Steph and today we've got a Pixio PXC277A gaming monitor on the desk to give it a try. So the standout feature here is the fact that it's curved. Now I do really like a curved panel, especially for the immersion that it can bring. It has a 1500R curve, which is definitely a noticeable curve, but still very reserved when it comes to its wraparound feeling. It does still have a 16:9 aspect ratio, so unfortunately it doesn't give you that wider 21:9 feeling of an ultra-wide monitor, but the curve definitely makes up for it. The bezels, minus of course the bottom, do look nice and thin, at only around a few millimeters thick, and the overall color looks to be very dark, like a gunmetal type grey, which looks nice and stylish, and there are no garish RGB effects here, just a very small blue light on the bottom right to let you know it's powered. Now it has got a small Pixio logo on the front, which again is very unobtrusive. The monitor stand is nice and thin to match the overall aesthetic of the monitor, though unfortunately it only offers tilt options. There is no swivel or rotate here. The surface area it does take up on a desk though feels nice and slim, and on my desk behind me I could easily fit it comfortably if I didn't have a soundbar on there. Now it's also high enough to keep your keyboard underneath it, though I must say when it comes to my Stream Deck Plus I would have struggled to find space underneath. The panel itself uses VA technology, which isn't really strictly known for its color accuracy, but is definitely a capable enough technology for gaming panels and far beats TN panels when it comes to color. It does have a 2560 by 1440p resolution and a max refresh rate of 165 Hz, making it nice and capable for those faster FPS titles. It is advertised as having 1 millisecond gray to gray response time, though after running a UFO test I did find that its MPRT sat closer to around 5.6 milliseconds. It has adaptive sync technology and does support HDR at a max brightness of around 300 nits, which we'll go into in a moment, but that really wasn't great enough to warrant keeping it on full time, especially when gaming. Diving into some technicals that I pulled using my Datacolor Spider Elite, and I must say it was generally pretty decent. So out of the box I ran a display analysis, so let's start with the gamut. The Pixio screen can hit 100% of the sRGB color gamut, and 83% Adobe RGB, and 88% of the P3 gamut, which in my opinion is really pretty decent actually for your gaming, though content creation could be a bit hit and miss. This however did match with the color accuracy of the panel, and I must say for a budget gaming monitor I was shocked. It gave me an average Delta E score of 1.77 with a high of 3.28, which was really just amazing to see. Moving on to its uniformity, though the monitor at 100% brightness did give me some hot spots in the top quadrants, and even at 50% brightness this didn't really help either to keep it under control. Its luminance uniformity didn't fare much better either, with a hotspot in its top right quadrant and dark areas towards the left hand side of the panel. Overall though, I was very happy with the performance of the screen. The backlight bleed too was extremely well controlled, and I couldn't really find any complaints here. It was slightly noticeable in the very far corners, but if you're playing darker media or darker games, then I don't think you're going to be having any issues. When it came to the contrast ratio, again I was pretty happy with the results. As 100% brightness, the panel achieved a max brightness of 312.9 nits with a contrast ratio of 2190 to 1, while at 50% it achieved a very respectable 173.7 nits of brightness and 1510 to 1 contrast ratio. Now this unfortunately was quite a distance away from its advertised 4000 to 1 contrast ratio, but I must say that the black levels did still feel nice and inky. If it wasn't for its uniformity, this panel I think would have been almost unbeatable at this price point, but unfortunately it did let the team down a bit. But anyway, let's talk about some games. Of course, with all of my monitors that I test, I fall to a UFO ghosting test to check out its motion blur, and I must say it does really fall down here in certain scenarios. I ran 4 tests and filmed them, admittedly on my phone in slow motion, to give you some idea of what to expect. The first test I ran had no gaming features switched on, as in no FreeSync and no overdrive. The second test turned on FreeSync Premium. The third test I turned on FreeSync Premium and the overdrive setting on a low and medium setting. And finally, I turned off FreeSync Premium and turned on overdrive to low. And I must say that anything set at a medium overdrive did look really bad. The little UFOs produced a really strange blue type ghosting, although it didn't really pick it up on camera, and FreeSync Premium didn't help with this too much either. It was especially noticeable in darker scenes, like the top row of the UFO ghosting test, and my advice would be to keep your FreeSync Premium and your overdrive features switched off. Now the guys over at Tech Team GB do go into this in far more detail than I can about this monitor in their video, so go and check that out before making a purchase decision, and I will leave a link in the description down below to that. But inside of games though, I can't say that I've really noticed much in terms of ghosting in real time. I've been really into some Dave the Diver recently, which is a quality game, and I must say here that the image quality is really nice and bright and very sharp, and the colors do really pop, though there aren't really any dark areas in this game, or that I've seen anyway, nor does anything really zip around the screen fast enough to feel blurry. Now, I also played a decent amount of F1 2023 on this screen, and I didn't mind this too much either. Of course, it's a fast game, so the boards down the side of the track are going to blur anyway, and the signs and the sponsorships and that kind of thing, so you can expect some blur here, but nothing too major that I thought would ruin the experience. It's nice and fast-paced, and everything did just feel responsive and really sharp. And again, playing some Hunt Showdown, it felt absolutely great to game on. I could hit my targets, and playing Battlefield as well just felt really, really nice. Around the back, you have got some great inputs to choose from for gaming, and first you can find, of course, the power input, which you need to use the included power brick. You've got a USB Type-A port for firmware updates, and this is not a hub, unfortunately. A HDMI 2.0 port for that 1440p 144Hz gaming, and surprisingly, two DPI 1.2 ports, which I must say I've never really seen on a monitor before. Maybe I've missed it, and maybe I've missed the point of having two DPI ports on the back, but I suppose it could be useful if you've got two PCs on your desk, like if you're a live streamer, for example. You've also got a VESA 100 mounting option, which Pixio does include a flat metal plate to mount it to an arm or wall mount in case you can't get your bracket into the mounting holes due to the curve of the monitor, which is a nice touch. And finally, a 3.5mm headphone output, as this monitor does not have any built-in speakers. Pixio has the PXC277A, and the A means advanced, by the way, listed at $239, which I for one think is a fairly decent price for this monitor. It does fit within the budget category in terms of the monitor industry, but if you're after something as a casual gamer, I can definitely recommend this one here. However, for competitive gameplay, look elsewhere, because if you're the type of gamer who wants pin-sharp details to scope out those long-range headshots, the ghosting found here could be an issue. It can be negated somewhat with a low overdrive setting, but unfortunately, it just won't eliminate it completely. But for me, a casual gamer, I did enjoy my time with the Pixio PXC277A. It's a decent looking monitor, and the immersion from the 1500R curve definitely does draw you in, I think, and for the most part, the image quality is actually pretty great. So top marks here for Pixio, I think. Thank you very much for checking out my video review of the Pixio PXC277A gaming monitor. If you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to keep up with our latest tech and gaming video, and also let us know in the comments down below, would you go for one of these monitors? Have you checked out the Tech Team GB video as well? What did you think of that? Let us know in the comments down below. Or if you've got another monitor in mind that you think around the $239 would beat this, let us know in the comments down below as well. As I say, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.